Hello, welcome to Ton TV and a very special edition of the Weekly Update. As many of you know from watching last week's Weekly Update, or indeed the live stream from Saturday's match against United, this week the club are involved in an initiative with CAFE, which is the Centre for Access to Football in Europe. This is an initiative aimed specifically at people with disabilities to get access to football grounds at all levels, boardroom right through to watching the games from the stands, or hopefully when we get back to that. Delighted to say, to discuss this today, I'm joined by the Disability Access Officer for Morton, who is Andy Adams. Andy, good morning.
Morning, Jerry. How are you?
Very well. Yourself?
Yep, keeping well. Thanks very much.
Good. So, CAFE, can you explain a wee bit more to me about
it? Well, CAFE, as you mentioned, the Centre for Access to Football in Europe, just really trying to promote the inclusion of people with disabilities at all levels of the sport, and improve the kind of match day experience for people with a disability attending football matches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And in your role as a disability access officer, what do you do for the club in that respect, if I can ask the obvious question?
Yeah, well, the disability access officer has really been driven from UEFA as part of the kind of club licensing. Mm-hmm. I was invited to get on board with this following my injury in 2016 by Warren Hawke, who was chief executive at the time. And Warren just, invited me to get involved with the club and just try and engage with the disabled supporters in some way. COVID, to a large extent, has kind of knocked it back quite a bit, and part of the kind of week of action just now is to try and engage with people digitally and electronically this year, because it's obviously a bit different. So that's what I've been doing, and also getting involved with the Disability Association, Disability Access Officers in Scotland. That was kind of how I got the link into the CAFE. Number of disability access officers for all the clubs in Scotland for meeting, and I went along to a few meetings there, and as you do, you meet various people there, and you start volunteering, and then one thing leads to another.
Yeah, of course.
You get roped into various things, and before you know it, you're on the telly.
You enjoy your role though, clearly, because you're a Morton supporter.
Okay, I enjoy the role. I'm really glad to be involved at some level with the club. It's obviously a life-changing experience, being injured, having a disability, and I'm still fairly new to living with a disability, so I'm not going to claim that I'm the be-all and end-all and know all the facts and figures about it. But I do want to still be involved in anything that I can, do to be involved. I will, and anything I can do to try and help others who are maybe going through a similar experience to myself, or who are living with a disability, then I'm willing to help.
One of the things I think you did before lockdown last year, you got involved in help with the visually impaired for the matches. How was that going to work out?
That's right. We had an issue at the club, I think, where we've always been kind of involved with partially sighted football supporters. There was the traditional old box up the back of the stand, mm-hmm. Where the people partially sighted could go and get would be comfortable and get some audio commentary on a kind of one-to-one basis. It became a kind of safety issue, I think, up there, and we had to try and at the time kind of do something different. Again, as I mentioned, through the Disability Access Officers meeting in Scotland, I got to meet a representative of a charity called Rex Blind Parties. Mm-hmm. Now, a bit of a strange name for the charity, I think, but I think it was an old reporter from the Daily Record, someone his first name was Rex.
Right, yeah.
You know, and
Old enough to remember.
Hi, and yeah, he's been running this charity for audio-visual people, and we managed to get a hold of some equipment, the audio descriptive equipment, which is like 5 headsets, I believe, and a kind of a microphone, where, you know, people with partially sighted or anybody, you know, there is some scope to use it for people with autism. You know, there's been there's a link to say it might help them to kind of, you know, take out the kind of noise of the football, you know, where they can get, you know, they can be anywhere on the ground. They're not restricted. They can be with their pals. They can, you know, sit anywhere. They can get audio description to their headset, and hopefully, you know, that would encourage people who have maybe, you know, drifted away over the years or who want to give it a go, to attend. Yeah, so that was something that we had just got in place just before the kind of COVID closed in. So we were really, the next step for that was to try and get people to volunteer or become part of the kind of team to try and provide the audio description for partially sighted.
Is the week of action, is that an annual thing anyway, or is it more specific now because we've got the lockdown scenario?
No, this is the 9th one that's been running. It's been, you know, I think it was driven from when, was it Poland and Ukraine, the European Championships were in a few years ago. It really started from about there. There was a big initiatives with UEFA to try and, you know, bring disability issues and inclusivity up the agenda. And really since then, they've been doing a week of action. And over the past couple of years, I've been trying to do something to kind of raise the profile a wee bit. But this year, it's obviously different because of the COVID, and a lot of things are taken online. And just trying to contact disabled fans through this type of initiative and through the social media.
If people wanted to get involved generally, not just with Cafe this week, but in general with disability access, how would they go about it, Andy?
Do you mean we getting access to the games?
Yes.
Well, what we would do initially just now is just contact the club. I think the email that we're using just now is the admin email.
Yeah. Admin at gmfc.net. Yeah.
Admin. We're hoping to try and get a designated disability access officer email up and running. There probably was a facility there in the past, but we're going to try and resurrect that. And also going to try and, you know, maybe I'm not the right person here, but we're going to try and get a bit more involved with social media. You know, so try and bring that, because that's obviously an easy way. I'm also kind of, you know, I understand that not everybody's involved in social media, so
sure.
Old phone call to the club would probably, you know, do the same if they wanted to, you know, attend a match. And yeah, and I could contact them and just see what their issues is, because disability, as I've learned, is wide and varied. It's not just about being in a wheelchair. There's so many invisible disabilities that people are, and everybody's got their own individual needs. We know at Caplow that we're not the best for accessibility, but it's about trying to improve what we've got and making it as accessible as possible for people to come along and enjoy the game.
Well, Andy, thanks for joining me today and explaining all this to me as well. Best of luck, obviously, with your endeavours, and hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you next season back here at Caplow. Okay, mate. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll be playing some good football. Thanks, Andy. Much appreciated. Right, all the best. Cheers, mate.